Travis Wayne Goodsell. So I'm notified by YouTube that I've reached 700 subscribers. As I've told you, about 500 to 600 are mostly dead. Coronavirus wiped them out. It's pretty sad. But yeah, a lot of new people being allowed by YouTube to find my channel and videos. And so yeah, I'm having to often repeat videos that I've already done because the way that YouTube has designed their platform makes it very complicated to find the particular videos that people are interested in. Nonetheless, notwithstanding, today's been exciting. We got raided by the drug canine as they went searching through all our dorms for drugs, and I believe they caught some people. I saw an article a week or two ago, back from 2021, saying that this location still was seeing the use of drugs, but not as frequent as the one that used to exist downtown, which was destroyed by the church, and thus they were forced to build this one with a total number of beds 400 less than the original. And they tried to pull a con on everybody here in Utah by saying, oh, we're building 3. 3 is more than 1. So yeah, we've got mice and we've got drug sniffers. What else is going to happen? No doctors. Oh, remember when they changed the name of this place to the Pamela Atkinson Center? Yeah, they received donations and thus were changing the name, and it turns out that we got new blankets, no towels, no winter coats. I had to buy another one because for those of you who have been around long enough, remember that my storage unit that has what I was allowed to take from my apartment is holding my property hostage and demanding ransom on a monthly basis, whereas I'm not allowed to access it. Isn't that great? So, just going over the ideas that I had while I was out this morning. Rest in PD number 2 came out on DVD today, so that's exciting. Yeah, this seems to fit with the theme. Let's add this in. Church in Utah, Utah's hostage, extort Fed. Yeah, I can throw this in too with it. That something weird happened because Brigham Young's church that he claimed is Joseph's, but I've caught Nelson now with the latest video saying that Joseph Smith is our prophet, but this is not his church. That is awesome. But the United States shut it down because Brigham Young was criminal. And Mormons get upset when I tell them this. They don't seem to understand what a crime is, or they want to let the God of Brigham Young prevail. And yeah, we'll do these 2 papers. And it wasn't just for polygamy. everybody is led to believe that the church was shut down for polygamy and that the prophets were locked up for polygamy. No. That was an afterthought, because the United States has been trying to get the church to stop polygamy for 50 years. Almost 50 years. 25 years plus. And Brigham Young was in defiance the whole time. And then John Taylor is when they finally got around to shutting down the church with the Edmunds-Tucker Act. But it was their protection racket of tithing, which protection racket was not known as a law concept, a legal concept, as that would be developed in the 70s to go after any of the mob organizations, mafia organizations, even gangs that are criminal organizations. It's part of the RICO Act. But every Mormon knows it as fire insurance. That's a protection racket. We are forced to pay tithing. And I had commented to a person who wants nothing to do with the church that he was disappointed in the church, kind of horrified that the church would go around the world and tell natives and islanders that their DNA is from the Book of Mormon, the Nephites and Lamanites. And so I added my comment that it's even worse than that, because they go into these third world locations where natives have been and lie that the Book of Mormon is literal history, and deceive them into thinking that it is their DNA ancestors, but then they convert them to the church and require the protection racket tithing 10% of their income, when the actual Doctrine and Covenants passage, which I'm leaning towards not being from Joseph Smith, but one of Brigham Young's fraudulent documents that he's put in there because of the linguistic patterns and the real history that I've uncovered. There's too many anomalies to be explained any other way. That it's supposed to be 10% of your interest annually. And for those of you who don't own your own business, you do not comprehend what interest is and how to pay 10% of your interest. And so, yeah, the majority of us work for someone else. That's a condition of slavery if they're not paying us a living wage, if we have to struggle paycheck to paycheck. But to have the church step in and say, hey, join our church and pay another 10% to us, and pay us first over diapers, formula, food, rent, gas money, etc. And then to be in a location where the bishops are unable to help you, and there are no storehouses nearby, and even here in Utah there are bishops who refuse to give of the church's substance to those who are supposed to be getting it, because it's listed in the church handbook that they're supposed to be getting it, but then the bishops just decide, nope. My power of discernment says, nope. We're not going to give away the Lord's money and food to help these poor people who need to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and get a job. And if it doesn't make enough, then it's not the right job, and then they need to get a better job. And so, yeah, much atrocities. As I'm going off script, aren't I? And so, yes, the churches somehow managed to leveraged the United States after getting reincorporated in 1923. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the sympathy card. You shut us down for polygamy, and we were pardoned by President Grover Cleveland. You have to back off and leave us alone now. Because, yeah, apparently they don't understand that Grover Cleveland did not pardon the church, which was Brigham Young's church, not Heber J. Grant's church, for only polygamy, not the protection racket of tithing. And so the church is equally vulnerable, just as all the other branch-offs from Brigham Young that are getting busted for polygamy and other crimes. But the government will not take down this church for their crimes. And they commit crimes because they're from Brigham Young. So, very atrocious. But this is the final day of that harvest I've been talking about. It goes back anciently to the story myth of Jeroboam, the first king of the northern tribes of Israel, who created the Hebrew holy day of Sukkot, which is a feast of ingathering. So the gathering of Israel. He made it a couple of weeks after the one for the Jews, and so this is the last day of that, and this is the second harvest, because the first one was in 2020, and Mormons rebelled because Bednar plagiarized somebody else's explanation, said that Mormons will be rebellious. That's what the parable is all about, guys. You chose to be rebellious and rebelled against your king, and so you didn't get gathered by the man like Moses, the Mormon man like Moses, the mortal Mormon man like Moses that Joseph Smith is talking about. And so here's the second harvest. You're given a second chance. And oopsie, we're on the last day. So sad. So sad. So yeah, the priesthood key of Moses is for the first presidency and is for the gathering of the latter days, for the Exodus. Not just a gathering in your stake centers around the world. Not a gathering to the wrong Zion. There is only one Zion, and it's one location, and it's not Missouri, and it's not Utah. So, yeah, we'll end it here with that, since that covers enough information for you now. But I would not be criticizing the church if the church wouldn't be criminal. If they wouldn't attack me for believing that Joseph Smith is my founding prophet. And then now they're saying, nope, it's not his church. You can't do these things, Travis. You can't show that Joseph Smith is true. You can't show that the Book of Mormon is true, as it's not literal history. It's prophecy. They specifically wrote it as prophecy. Learning of the Jews, apocalyptic literature, for our specific day, right now. That's why I'm able to say you missed the second Exodus, the second harvest. Because the signs in the heavens give us those dates. As the second Peter, or not the second Peter, the Gospel and Apocalypse of Peter talks about. So we'll end here.